hated around here, you dig? When you get into the money, you always gonna be most hated. Just live your life and get to the paper, you dig? Yeah, we came from the bottom, but we elevate. And we sitting at the top, they said we most hated. They said we graduated, came up from not having things. Now we celebrate success, man, that's a heaven. Yeah, we came from the bottom, but we elevate. And we sitting at the top, they said we most hated. They said we graduated, came up from not having things. Now we celebrate success, man, that's a heaven. I said we came from the bottom, but we elevate. Now we sitting at the top, and we most hate. Went from being down to a nigga levitate. Yeah, I'm having everything. Yeah, I'm going places. You can never slow me down, I'm at my own pace. You can never slow me down, I run my own race. We came from the bottom, but we elevate. Now we sitting at the top, and we most hate. Went from being down to a nigga levitate. Yeah, I'm having everything. Yeah, I'm going places. You can never slow me down, I'm at my own pace. You can never slow me down, I run my own race. A nigga try to knock me down, I catch him.
You see it. We back with another one. I got another special guest. He's a father, a coach, a personal trainer. He's a motivational speaker. And he's also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I got the one, the only, Coach Jenkins. How's it going?
What up, man?
And how everything is, man? It's been a long time. We've been trying to get this one for a while.
Yes, sir, man.
Got some technical difficulties the last time we was trying to get together. But, man, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me up here today.
Man, I appreciate you reaching out to me. Say, I'm ready. So I said, okay, let me hit my guy up. The times work, so we at it.
Yes, sir.
So what's been going on with you?
Man, just trying to enjoy this quick little break we had after the season.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get mentally rested, should I say?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because, football season is a grind, especially for a head coach, too. So,
yeah.
You put everything into, for me, I put everything into everything that I do. So, I put my all into everything that I do. So,
yeah.
Just taking this little break. We start back next week. So,
okay.
Yeah, back, the goal is get back to the Valley Championship.
That's
again,
always the goal, huh?
Yes, sir.
But that's good, though, man. Y'all had a long season.
We did.
To the end.
We did.
Man, so, man, I just tell you, man, I've been watching you. I'm telling you, I'm learning some things from you.
Man, I appreciate
how to be better. Just the conversations we ain't had, man. Just how to be better.
Yes, sir.
To be a better man, better person. It's an everyday struggle, but I'm working.
Hey, man, it's crazy. I was just having this conversation this morning. The biggest thing is at least working in the right direction, moving in the right direction, right? That's for me. I'm always trying to move in the right direction. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It's just focusing on moving forward at all times. So, that's when you give yourself grace, right? That's the time you give yourself grace, knowing that you're actively trying to change or work on things that you're struggling with.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So
and that's what I'm trying to do. Just fix my mistakes and just try to be better the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So man, growing up, you grew up in Oakland.
Yes, sir.
Then after that, you moved to
Concord, California.
Concord, California, man. How was that transition from Oakland to Concord?
Man, it was a huge transition. It was different in the sense of the demographics, right? So, excuse me, I grew up in Oakland, which is predominantly black.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Concord, which had a mixture of black people, white people, Mexican people, Asian people, all different races.
Yeah.
So it was different. I adjusted very well just because how my mom raised me. We didn't see color. She didn't teach me to say, okay, this is, it was just, hey, we're moving here. This is why we're moving here. I'm trying to put you in a position to be successful, trying to get you out of the quote unquote hood and bad environments.
Yeah.
So, but when she moved us to Concord, man, of course I was sad because I thought that I was moving far away, but as I got older, Concord to Oakland was like 25 minutes.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's Kermit and Fresno.
Exactly. So it wasn't that bad, right? And then I still hopped on BART because I still played Pop Warner football in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
So I would me and my sister would hop on BART and things of that nature. So, it was a smooth transition, man. Once I moved to Concord, I adjusted very fast, and it became easy for us.
Do you feel like the education was different from Oakland education versus a Concord education?
Well, see, that's the thing. Growing up, like when you talk about education, I don't think people really break it down what education means or what you're supposed to be learning or things of that nature. Because I think a lot of teachers teach to the speed or the qualification of the kids. Yeah. Right? So I didn't notice the educational difference from Oakland to Concord, right? Because I didn't even know what to look for. Yeah. Right? When you're talking about being in elementary, when you're talking about middle school, I'm just going to school.
Yeah, you just there.
I'm just there, right? I'm going there because I know this is what I'm supposed to do every single day is go to school. But no one's breaking down, okay, hey, at this age, you should be learning this. And, are you learning things of that nature? But so for me, though, I would say when I grew from going to Oakland to Concord, meeting the people in middle school was different, especially this lady named Mrs. Raines, Patty Raines. She had a huge impact on my life, right? And I met her in middle school. So to me, that's where the growth was or the biggest impact was, but just the individuals that you meet from elementary, from Oakland to Concord. So, yeah.
And that's what I believe, too. Like, middle school is the crucial moment where you can either go left or right.
Yes.
And you said that you went back and played Pop Warner. Do you feel like you were treated different coming back versus just staying out there and then coming back home to play football?
No, because at that point, people just look at your athleticism. Yeah. Right? It's not where you live, where you're from. It's just how good of a football player you are. Yeah. Are you as good as everybody else that's on the team? And I was fortunate enough to play for the Oakland Saints. After the team that I played on, I think maybe 10 guys ended up going to college football.
Oh man, and that's a squad.
Some went and played in the NFL.
Okay.
So, I was in a different environment. Now the transition from Oakland Saints to Concord Cobras, huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference, right? So that was a big difference. But no, they didn't look at me different. Half the time, nobody really knew that my mom made the transition from Oakland to Concord anyway.
Okay, because you was always there.
I was always there, So it wasn't like, oh man, are you living in Concord? I get made fun of more now by my friends. Like, you're not from Oakland, you're from Concord, right? They make fun of me now because of that.
Yeah.
But I always joke. I said, man, realistically, if you want to be real, I've lived in Fresno longer than I've lived anywhere else. I moved to Fresno in 2003, and it's 2024 now. So,
you've been here,
yeah. So I've been here
so you've
for
been about 21 years.
Yeah.
So you got homes everywhere.
Exactly.
Everybody want to claim you now. Hopefully, after you win that championship, everybody gonna be like, man, I knew him when he played Pop Warner.
Hey, listen, if people remember me from then that means I left my mark on the world, right?
Yes.
So this and that's what drove him. Once he told me that, at the end of the day, whether I agree with it or not, I understood it. Right. So, but growing up without my dad in the household, it affected me in different ways that I didn't realize affected me until I got older. Yeah. Right. And so for me, just working through those things as I've gotten older, and being able to make sure that I'm consistent in my own son's life. Yeah. And making sure that I'm able to speak life into him and just help him through life lessons. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I do with my son, and I wish that I would have been able to have that with my dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on now, because I grew up in a single parent household, and I'm still feeling the effects of it. So some things I can't know how to deal with emotionally or mentally. So I kind of lash out verbally, stuff like that.
So like I talk about this conversation all the time. So men and women, there's a certain structure, right, that goes into a household, right? Like moms are not, and let me before I say this, moms can play both roles. I'm not saying that
yes, they can.
But when you look at it, moms are more of the nurturers, right? That's how women are made. Like that's just who they are. They're natural nurturers. Yeah. And men are more, stern. Men are more matter of fact. Men are more like, hey, get it done. The emotional part is taking out of it for the man, even though we are emotional, but when we go dealing with our sons, we want them to be the man's man.
Yes,
that makes sense, right? So for me, my mom tried to play both roles, right? So she would discipline me, but I know deep down inside she really didn't want to do it, but she had to because nobody else was there to do it for her. So you can tell that she didn't really want to. She didn't like it, but she knew she had to in order for me to make sure that I wasn't just running the streets or thinking that I can do whatever I wanted as a teenager. And so with that's the biggest thing. Like when you talk about the emotional side, like one thing that, again, most older men know how to do is turn off their feelings. Yeah. Right. They know how to say, hey, this is what it is. I'm not going to show my emotions versus sometimes with moms, they show their emotions. Yeah. And so when you don't have that father in your life to help you navigate through those emotions and navigate and say, hey, okay, it's okay to feel this way, but let's talk about how we're going to deal with our feelings. Yeah. Like that's a huge difference, right? Versus when your mom said, you're looking at your mom like, you're a woman. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Even though your mom is spitting real game, even though she's telling you the truth, even though she's telling you, you looking at her like, you don't know what she's talking about. Yeah. And it all comes down to one thing, simply because she's a woman. Yeah. Right. Not and we when we as kids we look at our moms and we're like, you don't understand. But no, they do. Yeah. We just have to understand that she's just as important. She has just as much knowledge as our father. Yes. Right. And people who know me know my mom was my best friend. Yes. My ace, my like everything. Yep. And it took for me to be like, as I got older, like my mom told me the same thing Coach Ladd told me. Yeah. Or my mom told me the same thing Coach Edson told me. Or like, and I'm listening to her and I'm listening in, I'm like, she don't get it, but they get it, right? So
it's at that, I noticed as teenagers, it's not what the information is who's delivering the information. Yes. That's a big point, a big thing now with these kids. Like, you can tell them one thing, and then they'll be like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about this. Exactly. Yeah, so.
Exactly. Well, again, like, it's just, and that's why it goes back to, too, like, it's important that when you talk about separate households and things of that nature, when your kids are in two separate households, you establish, you try, because, again, sometimes it doesn't work where with your significant other, you can't communicate. But that's why it's so important that you create that communication level between you and your ex-significant other, whatever the case may be, so that whenever there is an issue, the mom can pick up the phone and say, hey, your son is acting a certain way. Can you talk to him? All right, cool. Get on the phone, and dad can regulate and have a conversation with his son so the son knows, I'm not going to allow you to act this way in front of your mom. Right? Yeah. I'm going to make sure that you respect your mom. You give her the same respect that I would give her or that she deserves, because she's just as important as I am. Yep. Right. So, but I mean, again, we can go on and on about that topic.
But now let's get to your youth football, played in Concord. Now you go on to high school. At De La Salle.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of the holy grail of CIF football.
It is.
Man. And how was that transition from Pop Warner to high school football?
It was a huge transition. I'll be honest with you. I had no clue what I was getting myself into when I went to De La Salle. Yeah. I didn't. So when I talk about Mrs. Raines, so she was an avid teacher at my middle school. And so she actually had a conversation with my mom about De La Salle. Again, I know De La Salle was good in football, but I didn't know De La Salle was what it was. Yeah. And so me being blessed with the opportunity to go and attend there, once I got there, it was a different ball game. Yeah. Right? It was the structure, the buy-in, all those different things, man, was God sent to me. So.
Yeah. So that's like, so you played on the freshman team first. Then after that, you had your call. You got that call up. We called the call up, man. I got called up to varsity. Yeah. Your sophomore year.
Yes, sir.
So from freshman to varsity football, I know that's a big transition.
Ah, man, listen, it is a huge transition. Man, I tell everybody this. My sophomore year, I'm the man who got Matt Lionheart a scholarship in one game. Yeah. My sophomore year, when we played Modern Day, dude was through. I think he threw for like 1,000 yards, right? But I'm joking. But
yeah, but he was getting numbers.
Yeah, he was getting numbers. But it's funny though, man, because the only reason why I got moved up to varsity was from my freshman year, I wasn't eligible going into my sophomore year. So that spring after football, I wasn't eligible. So I went to the strength and conditioning coach at the time, Mike Velasquez, and I said, hey. Well, this is from my mom directing me. She's like, well, since you're not doing track, you better find something to do. Yeah. Right? Like, you're not finna just come home and chill. Yeah. So I went to my strength and conditioning coach and said, hey, do you mind if I work out with you until football starts because I can't do track. I'm ineligible. And so he was like, yeah. So I started working out with him and started going out there every single day and doing my thing. And then one day he had told Coach Ladd, like, hey, you need to come check this kid out. And so I was out there working out. Coach Ladd watched me. And then he was like, hey, you're going to be with varsity in the spring.
Ooh.
And so, mind you, I'm like, all right, like, I'm happy, but I don't know. I think I'm finna go up to varsity and freaking sit on the bench and right. And so I go home and tell my mom, but then they have to have a parent meeting because, again, I'm only 15 at the time. So I'm 14, 15. I'm too young to play varsity.
Yeah.
So then I go in the spring. I do my thing in the spring. Fast forward, and then I end up starting as a sophomore in varsity.
Oh, that's a big accomplishment.
I ended up beating up, I think, 3 seniors.
Ooh.
So, and mind you, still, even me starting as a sophomore, I still didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, they saw something in you, though.
Yeah, they did.
They saw something in you.
I was, you know what I mean? So it was one of those things to where I was blessed with that opportunity. That opportunity changed my life.
Yeah.
But the thing that changed my life the most was the structure that comes with being at De La Salle.
Yeah.
The team chemistry, the team bonding, the team structure, how it was player driven, right? And then also too the traditions that were created by the players.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I mean, De La Salle changed my life.
Yeah. So you said that. So you took advantage of a opportunity that you. I say it's opportunity because even though you were ineligible, that weight room still anybody can be ineligible, go in that weight room and put that work in. Yeah. And that's where a lot of football players miss out now, or any athletes now. They don't like to go into the weight room. Mm-hmm. That's where really a lot of the games are won and lost is on the off season in the weight room.
Yes, sir.
If you skip a rep or you miss this or that, there's somebody else out there working 10 times harder than you. And you took advantage of a missed opportunity running track, but you got better still in the process.
Yes.
So, so you said you gave Matt Leinart the highlight reel. He had highlights on you.
Yeah.
So, and then you were able to still come back that next week and have a spot. Yeah. How big was that? Because man,
listen,
if you get beat 2 or 3 times on my team, boy, let's go ahead and sit down, man.
Well, you know what? I like to use the word grace a lot. I think at the time, De La Salle gave me a lot of grace, right? So, well, you know, I mean, I wasn't the only person who was getting beat that game, and I think that's kind of what happened is it was like, okay, hey, who else are we going to put in here? Who's going to do, going to do worse to him? Right? So it's kind of like they had to live with me. But I guarantee you, though, if we'd have lost, because we almost lost that game.
Yeah.
I guarantee if we'd have lost, I might not have been at the school the next time.
Oh yeah, they'd have probably been coming to get everybody for the street.
But it was I had to grow up, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my real experience. Like we played at Anaheim Stadium.
Oh,
I was a sophomore, right? Like on the best team in the nation. Like I didn't really understand the magnitude of what was taking place.
Yeah.
Like, it's my first, second year playing high school football, right? Like, and you got me playing at Anaheim Stadium in front of all these people.
Oh, yeah.
On a national televised game. And I'm out there like, what in the world, right? But I mean, it was an amazing feeling after that week. After that week, my special teams coach at the time, DB coach at the time, and he that following week, he gave me some burnt toast. So,
oh man,
there you go. Cobra. He came out that next week and he gave me some burnt toast, man. And they made fun of me for the week, but during the game it wasn't nothing funny. So,
the game is not funny, but now you can laugh about it.
One of my teammates was like, "Dude, if we lose the game, I'm gonna kill you." And I'm looking at him like, what?
It's just football.
But so here's the thing. Like people say it's just football.
Yeah.
But when you sacrifice so much,
yes,
and you put so much on the line week in and week out, it becomes more than.
Oh yes, it's like it's more than a game.
It becomes more than a game to you because you sacrifice so much and you're depending on 10 other guys to have the same mindset and the same attitude and the same work ethic as you do.
Yeah.
But again, at that time, I was only a sophomore.
Yeah, you was young.
I was young and he was a senior. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He's like, dude, you was on varsity as a sophomore too. How were you playing in these big games? Right? I need to go back and watch this film.
Yeah.
But I understood it, man, and I didn't take it personal. Like, I remember after the game, I told my mom, I was like, yo, I almost lost the streak.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, you didn't, baby. But I'm like, no, I almost lost the streak, Mom. Like, and I told her everything. But that's one thing about my mom is she never allowed me to play the victim.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't, when I told her what he's like, well, you got to do better. Like,
Yeah.
what you want me to do, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I appreciate about my mom the most is she never let me play the victim. It was never a victim mentality. She never had a victim mentality in front of me. I'm not saying that behind closed doors she never vented to her friends or siblings and things of that nature, but in front of me, she never played the poor me.
Yeah.
If we were struggling financially, she went out and got another job.
Yeah.
She went and did things extra, or if she needed to cut things out of her own life to make sure we had things, she did that. So
Yeah.
So.
So you were on the 2001 national championship team. Well, they nationally ranked top 50 greatest football teams of all time for high school football.
Mm-hmm. I think we were number one. I think we were number one.
Is y'all number one?
Yeah, we were
Because
number
I
one.
just seen top 50, so number one, huh? Oh, he said number one.
Yeah, number one. Listen, hey, I gotta let it be known, man. I gotta let it be known. That's a huge accomplishment out of all the teams. If I'm not mistaken, we were number one. Yeah.
So it's either your first or your last, huh?
Mm-hmm. Nothing in between.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the beauty of it, man. Like, I can honestly say in high school, I was a 3-year national champion, right? 3 years in a row. My sophomore, my junior, my senior year. I mean, I never lost a high school football game.
Man.
From freshman year all the way up to senior year.
Man.
So, I mean.
That's a feeling.
I mean, to be, when what you're talking about, the 50th, like, that's huge. Like, when you're talking about modern days. You're talking about Long Beach Poly. You're talking about a lot of schools in California.
A lot of high school teams.
That are some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got voted number one. Says a lot. So, I mean, to be a part of that team was an amazing thing too. So, and be able to contribute too. Not just being on it, but exactly. So, I was able to contribute and help out in whatever way they, So,
who's some notable players on that team?
Shoot. I mean, I think the biggest one is Maurice Jones-Drew.
Oh, okay.
Matt Gutierrez, Derek Landry. Who else? I mean, Cam Coven, TK, God rest his soul, Willie Glasper, DeMonte Fitzgerald. Who else? Elijah Bradley. Who else? Nate Kenyon.
Yeah.
Who else? I said Willie.
You got a lot of them.
I do. Shoot, Otto Bonnie, man. Look, there's a lot.
The list can go on.
Look, the list, now you're gonna have me go through the whole defense. I mean, look, and they see this podcast, they be like, man, you didn't mention me, man. Listen,
and those are not named.
Nah, listen, I'm gonna say this. So if you when you want to talk about the most notable, it's always gonna be Maurice, Matt Gutierrez, Derek Landry.
Yeah.
Why Derek Landry played at Notre Dame, went to Jacksonville. Matt Gutierrez played at Michigan, played in the league for the Patriots, Kansas City Chiefs. Drew UCLA Jaguars, Raiders. So they're always going to be the
bowling ball.
Yeah. So but when you look at the team as a whole, man, we had, I think maybe 10 guys go college and 10 of us.
That's a big accomplishment.
At least sniff the pros.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great big accomplishment. Now, you transition from high school football now to college football.
Yeah.
But the road wasn't easy for you to go to college football.
Nah, it wasn't.
You said you had the Title IX?
No. It was Prop 48.
Prop 48. Title IX.
Boy, he talking about Title IX.
Title IX, my bad. We got to cut that out.
Boy, Title IX is privileges for women and men.
Yeah,
boy,
we got to cut that part out.
It was Prop 48. Yeah, Prop 48. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was. I got lucky, man.
Yeah.
Again, again, you know, my life has been full of blessings and full of. When I look back at my life, God really he had my path already out for me. I just never understood it until now. Me being 38, now I can look back and be like, that's why he did things the way he did it, right? So, but no, because I didn't have academically, I didn't qualify. So it was either go Prop 48 to Fresno State or go to JC route. At the time, SC actually wanted me to go to JC route. Then they told me they'd come back and get me. I mean, the real reason why, me and my mom and Mrs. Ramsey had a conversation about it. The main reason why I chose to go to Fresno State is because if I got hurt, at least I would be in a 4-year university. If I was to go to JC route, then that means that I would have to make sure I'm on my stuff academically. I mean, of course, I would have had to be on my academic stuff being in college, but it would have been harder for me knowing that I had a learning disability, knowing that school is my least favorite thing to do. It would have been harder for me to try to get into a 4-year. So, I mean, we came to Fresno State, and I came to Fresno State, and then it's all she wrote after that.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
That's so. How was that experience? Like, did guys give you a hard time about being from De La Salle?
I mean, listen, everywhere I go, people give me a hard time about it, right? I mean, even my strength and conditioning coach at the time, I remember walking in there and you know, he was asking everybody where they're from, and I said De La Salle. And then I remember it was a guy, he was a head, he oversaw all of the weight room stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then he was having a conversation with, excuse me, my actual strength and conditioning coach that does football. And they made some little smart comments about my strength and conditioning coach at the time. And so from there, but it just automatically people already had placed that stigma on me. But I mean, I got in there and I just worked. Like I didn't care what people had to say. Like I just know I had to go in there and work. So.
So what was your most notable game at Fresno State? What game stand out to you as some that put you on the map that you felt like, okay, I belong here playing college football?
Man, I wouldn't even say it was certain games. I mean, I think it was my sophomore year, junior year. I think it was my junior year. I had 2 interceptions when we played Louisiana Tech. And then I had an interception the year we played Boise. So I think I had 3 interceptions that year.
Okay.
But I don't think it was just one particular game that put me on a map. Like, my favorite football player, DB, is Eric Davis, right? I describe Eric Davis as somebody who just does his job. He's not flashy. He is not somebody who's like he's a complete opposite of Deion. Right now, Deion's a dog. Like, I love Deion. I love watching Deion. But I always gravitated towards ED because of his demeanor. He didn't, you know what I mean? He went out there and did his job and handled business and wasn't really looking for the spotlight. So that's how I kind of play. Like, I did my job. I did what I was asked to do. You know, I went out there and did what I was supposed to do for my teammates. You know, listen to the coach, and I just, again, like it's right, I just did my job. You know? But I don't think there was any notable game that, you know, where I had like 6 interceptions or, you know, other than, like I said, the Louisiana Tech game, I had 2 in that game. So, but yeah.
You played for good old Pat Hill, man. How was that experience?
It was cool, man. I mean, Pat, when you see him in person, he is who he is, right? He's a larger than life kind of a guy. I mean, he's always, you know, we like to say he pride and enthusiasm. That's who he is. Right. You know, how he, you know, all the videos and all the things that people see on TV about Pat Hill, that's who he is in real life.
Okay.
Right. Like, there's no, on camera he's one way, then off the camera he's another way.
He's the same person.
He's the same person. Yep.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. And y'all beat some teams back then too.
And we challenged some teams too, man. Like, I was blessed with the opportunity to go play LSU. I mean, we played when they had Jamarcus Russell, Dwayne Bowe. I mean,
the national championship team, huh?
Yeah, but they had Hester there. I mean, they had some dogs on that team. I mean, we went down there, you know, and we played them. Of course, we got whooped, but we went out there and I mean,
showed up.
We showed. I mean, exactly. I mean, and we were able to play against those top teams like that. And that was the beauty of playing at Fresno State is we didn't back down from anybody. Right. Pat Hill put those teams on the schedule because he wanted to show everybody that Fresno State is could be just as good as any other team.
Yeah.
Right. And us as players, we kind of embodied that. We knew it was our opportunity to go out there and showcase our talent versus these quote unquote 5-star guys.
Power fives and all
exactly.
that.
So it was a lot. I would say the difference between now and then is when you put us on a schedules, a lot of those teams were like, look, if we lose to them, this messes up everything.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, we lose to Fresno State, like this is it, you know.
Yeah.
But and I think a lot of teams knew that when they played us, you were going to get our best shot. We weren't just going to come out there and just lay down for games, you know. So, but that was a cool thing about playing, and I take that same mentality now as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my kids, like, if I put a team on a schedule, like, your job is to look at that schedule and say, okay, hey, we finna get these games,
yeah.
right? Like, I get it. You might be a D1 football program. I get it. You may have a guy on there that's going D1, but that's your opportunity to show this dude how good you actually are. So just trying to teach my kids that same mindset.
Yeah.
Because I think it helped us in life too. Having that mindset, like Pat Hill was just putting those quote unquote big guys on schedule.
Yeah.
It's about building confidence within yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can go out there and play the LSUs of the world, and no, you might not have won the game, but go back and watch the film. How many tackles did you have?
Yeah.
How many pass breakups did you have? How many receptions did you have against this quote unquote guy? So, you know, in the words of Coach Baxter, you celebrate all wins. And so, and that's kind of the mindset that I have, and I'm trying to instill in my kids is no matter who you play, you got to find a way to win. Mm-hmm. Right. And even if it's just an individual win, find a way to win and celebrate it. Because then again, in life, you're going to have certain challenges. People are going to tell you, oh, you're not going to be able to open that business, or you're not going to be able to do this and do that.
Oh, yes, always going.
That's the same thing they said when we played Long Beach Poly. We weren't going to win. Guess what? We won, right? So it's just trying to teach kids that football is a vehicle to life.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to stop at high school. That car is going to stay there for 4 years. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to put mileage on that car. You're going to and then after that, when your 4 years is up, now you hop in that car and now you're in the real life.
Yeah.
And everything that you put in this car, you can unpack it when you get into life. So, you know, and that's the biggest thing that, you know, I took away from playing with Pat Hill, and just just applying it to my own life as a coach and as a father and a mentor and stuff like that. So
yeah, shout out to Pat Hill. Mm-hmm. Man, now we transitioning again. Mm-hmm. Now we transition to the NFL. Uh-huh. Now, how was that? You were an undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
So how was that process going in, thinking like working out, doing all the right things, but then not getting drafted?
Man, I honestly thought I was gonna get drafted. So Tampa Bay had called me in the draft. During the draft, and they were like, hey, we're going to take you. And then they end up not taking me.
Oh.
And then Cleveland called me. Mm-hmm. So when Cleveland called me, I was just excited. Like, I didn't think, you know, to get a phone call and tell you that, hey, you know, because mine actually initially started as a tryout, right? So you have the priority free agents, and then you have free agents. So I was just a free agent. So my job was to go in there and beat out the priority for you.
Yeah.
And so I did. I went out there, I did my thing, and they ended up keeping me. So, you know, I like to say I had a cup of coffee in the NFL, and it was cool, man. I enjoyed it. So, but.
So you did the pro day at Fresno State, where you got to showcase your skills to get to the Browns.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So how was that experience going through explain the process of the pro day?
So, man, the process is start preparing for during the 40, and you're preparing for the bench test. Those are the two most important things that it seems like. So, you know, from January to, I think our pro day was March 17th, if I'm not mistaken. So it was normally around that time. So literally, I mean, we're out there training every single day, man. I was blessed to train my best friend Cliff. He's also my
Cliff Smith.
He's also my my best friend, my line brother.
Yeah,
he was the main reason I came to Fresno State. So we trained together with EJ Jackson. He's the head track coach at Clovis High. So we trained with him during that time, and so he helped us with our speed and things of that nature.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I mean, that day is probably one of the most nerve-wracking days, because it's like you have to perform in front of these guys, because they're literally going to judge you on everything.
Yeah.
Right? I tell people, I mean, their job is to disqualify us, right? Their job is to say, okay, hey, he's not good enough, and this is why.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to, kind of find a way for them to kind of like you and say, okay, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to give this guy a try. Right. So whether it's based off speed, your agility, your bench, whatever the case may be, that on that day, you got to showcase something.
Something.
Right? Yep.
They interview you too, right?
Well,
some interviews.
Well, it depends. They interview you if they feel like you're a high draft pick. Right.
Okay.
But sometimes some coaches may ask you questions, just general questions like the Niner. I bumped into the Niner guy. It's like, hey, so what film should I watch of you?
Yeah.
And so I had told him about the teams that I played. Like we had played K-State that year. I went against Jordy Nelson. I told him to watch that film because I had him on skates the whole night. We're not even talk about that one. But no, I told him to check that game out. Just little things like that. But I never really had any major formal interviews and things of that nature. But yeah. So for that, like I said, on that pro day, it was just some teams may ask questions, but nothing where it's just like they're sitting there asking you.
Okay, trying to get a job interview or something. So now you with the Browns. So how was that day-to-day grind? Knowing like any day this could be over because everybody watch Hard Knocks. You got to turn your playbook in. So how was that day-to-day? Like, man, I'm still here.
Exactly. I come to work and make sure ain't nobody standing at my locker. So, I mean, again, for me, because hard work is kind of already instilled in me, right? So my thing is I'm working so that I don't get cut, right?
Yeah.
So I'm making sure I'm doing everything the right way. The good thing is my best friend was in NFL, Maurice. He was in NFL at the time, so he's already telling me, yo, you can't make the club in the tub. Stay away from the training room. Do this, do that, right? If you hurt, man, you ice at the hotel room. You don't ice in front of them and things of that nature. So, that was some of the things that I took from him. But I just went there and did my job every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, and doing your job doesn't mean you're going to make the team, but at the end of the day, doing your job is what keeps you in good standings with the team, right? Yeah. Not just the team, but the players too. One thing I would like to say, man, is I got along with the vets. The vets respected me not because of where I was from or anything like that, but it's just how I went about handling my business. I didn't go in there and think I was just this tough guy. I just literally every single day worked hard on defense, special teams, in the meetings, paying attention, asking questions. I wasn't trying to be, if the vet asked me to do something, I was like, oh, no, man, I'm grown, man. Yeah. I went and did it. And so for me, like I felt like I gained the respect of them and, to the point to where there's times where some of the vets would stop me in the hallway and be like, man, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Right? Keep it up because they paying attention.
Yeah.
I still remember the day I got cut. I mean, I'm leaving, I'm packing up my stuff and vets is like, man, they cut you? And I was like, yeah. And you can see like they're genuine, like they were disappointed that I got cut. Right. Yeah. But it was, again, it's a business. Right. Yeah. I didn't get cut because I was out there getting drummed. I got cut because it was 4 or 6 DBs on the roster, and all of us was 1 or 2 years in.
Oh yeah.
So there was no veterans in the secondary.
Yeah, they wanted some experience.
They needed experience.
Yeah.
So they cut me and my boy Milvon, and they brought in older guys that had been in the league. Yeah. And then too, we were undrafted rookies, so we were easier to get rid of. Yeah. Exactly. So, but I mean, I like to say I went out there and I did my thing, and I earned the respect of the vets. Yeah. I didn't leave Cleveland thinking, oh man, I should have did this better. Yeah. Nah, I mean, I did my thing in practice. But like I tell everybody, you got to make the team during special teams. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So for me, and again, I did. I did everything that I possibly could that I was allowed to do, but I mean, I was blessed with the opportunity to at least get to sniff the NFL. Yeah, so
that's like a lot of players now, man. They come from being the best player on a Pop Warner team, high school team, college team to the NFL, and they not used to having to put that grind in on special teams, and it humbles. Yeah, it humbles a lot of guys. Like, man, I used to be the man everywhere I went, but now I gotta humble myself a little bit.
Well, that was the beauty of, again, when we talk about my past, I played for Coach Edson at De La Salle, special teams guy. Special teams was huge at De La Salle. Oh, yeah. Went to Fresno State, special team was huge. Yeah. So for me, I was already huge on special teams to begin with. So I'm like, it wasn't, hey, Damian, play. Yeah, I'm going to kick off. Like, you ain't got to tell me twice, right? You want to kick off return? Yeah, I'm going to kick off return. Like, You want punt team? Yeah, I'm going because that to me is where I knew I was going to need to make the team, right?
Yeah,
and that's what my boy Maurice is telling me. Just even talking to the vets, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have a problem playing special.
Yeah, that's
teams,
good,
right? Like I actually love playing special teams. So
yeah, it's a lot of players now that really don't understand because when I coach, you got to be able to do it all: special teams, punt team, kickoff return, punt return. Because the more valuable you are to the team, the more opportunities you're gonna get.
yes,
And a lot of players don't realize that until it's too late, till their senior year. When
he put an expiration date, but didn't tell me.
Yeah.
And so that expiration date came about when my mom got sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, without him telling me that my career was over, I knew it was over.
You knew it was over.
I knew it was time to transition into something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And which actually changed my life completely.
Yeah.
Right? It shaped my outlook on life differently. And so that was probably the biggest thing is when my football career did come to an end. So.
Yeah. So now you transitioning now to personal training. That's when I first met you, when you was personal training at the facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were doing footwork and agility there.
Yeah.
And at Bicentennial Park, I went over there. What this guy got going on over here? Got the cones out and the drills. And this was early, like 2012. It was like 2014, 15. It was somewhere around that time where you was at both of those spots.
Mm-hmm. So the facility was Carmen. Facility was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was 4 years ago at the facility.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was there. I was there at the time. I was with T1 Sports Academy when I was at the facility. And then after that is when I branched off and started doing my own thing. So, but yeah, I mean, I honestly, so I call my big brother. My big brother Nate kind of actually got me into it, right? He was doing it in the Bay Area, and I'm like, man, I like that what he does.
Yeah,
I'm into that. And then I wanted to do it by myself, but then I was just like, nah. And then I connected with Trevon at the time, Trevon Jones, and so I started working with him.
Yeah.
Right. But at the time, like I knew I could do the agility stuff. I knew because of just my background and the people that I've worked with, and my old strength and conditioning coach oversees everything at Cal. EJ Jackson is who, he's a head speed coach at Clovis. He was at Fresno State for a while. And then I learned a little bit from Josh Norman. So, I mean, I've learned from a whole bunch of people. The list goes on, but my initial how I got into it was I just wanted to work with kids.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I wanted to be the life coach side of things, the motivational speaker part of things. That's the side that I really wanted to focus on more. And then when I parted ways with T1, when I went a different direction, that's when I really started getting into doing the personal training stuff and training kids. And it became more of an intimate one-on-one setting where I can actually do more. And I started using those training sessions in life sessions. Yeah. Right. So anyone can tell, anybody who works with me, I'm at the end, I'm always going to find a life lesson from the workout. Right. And so for me, when I do that, like you can see like the impact that you're making on these kids, and they're starting to use the sports as a vehicle and starting to understand that what I go through, my trials and tribulations I'm going to go through in sports is the same thing I'm going to go through in life. How am I going to get through it? Yeah. Right? So that's one of the biggest things that helped me that made me stay in this field, is that because I can't see myself doing anything else, so. Yeah,
you kind of inspired me with the personal training side of it too, because I take a couple of your techniques you be putting online. I say, I can use that. I can use that. I like that.
You know what, man? We learn from everybody, man. You know what I mean. So I learn from people.
Yeah.
But it's what it comes down to too, man. Is just how you teach it. Right? And that's the biggest thing. So I mean,
Then you've been around the way coaching too. You're not just a personal trainer. You're a coach.
Yeah.
So you started at Kasner, right?
No. So
where'd you start at?
So I actually started at El Cap.
El Cap, that's right, El Cap.
I started at El Cap. Shout out to Sean Shores.
Yeah.
I actually started there when I was still trying to get on with the NFL. Sean allowed me to come on and be the DC and help there. Yeah. So I started off there. Then I coached at Bullard. I've coached at Clovis North, Madera, Justin Garza,
Man.
Clovis West.
Man, you've been around the way.
Yeah, I mean, but and all these positions that I've had have been because people who have asked me to go and coach with them.
Yeah.
My transition from Bullard to Madera was due to Yosef Ferris. Shout out to Yosef.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to Clovis West, Coach Mox asked me to come on. Shout out to Coach Mox. And then, so I mean, a lot of my coaching stops have been because people have asked me to come on. So I've been blessed with those opportunities. So,
and then at each one of those stops, I know you got good gems that you probably still use. And now that you've been a head coach, I know you got some good gems that you take the good, leave the bad, and say, I like that.
Man, I've been doing that. It's funny. It's crazy, but because I've been doing that since I was in high school. My biggest influence on me as a coach today is Bob Lattiser, Coach Edson, my De La Salle staff. Those are my biggest influences. Because it wasn't just the coaching side.
Yeah.
Right. It was how they are as men.
Yeah.
Right. I learned from them in that aspect. And so a lot of the things that I teach today or how I go about things have been from them. But you're right. I've picked up things from every coach that I've been a part of, whether it's good or bad, because everybody has their own philosophy and everybody comes from a different background and everybody sees things differently. Doesn't mean that it's the wrong way. It just means that they view things differently. And their core values might be a little bit different than yours are. So for me, no, I learned literally from every coach that I've been a part of. And so for me, and you're right, like I've embodied all those things. Yeah. Right. That's why it's so important for young men or just people in general to have an open heart and an open mind. Yeah. Right. Like you can't always, as much as you may think you always know it all, you don't. No. Right. There's always room for growth. There's always room for opportunity to learn more. But the moment your cup becomes full, man, is then why are you, why do you socialize with other people? Right? Like normally you socialize with people to learn. Yeah. Right? If you're not learning from an individual, then why be around them? Exactly. So, but I mean, even the guys on my staff now, I learn from them. Even though I'm the head coach, I learn from things from them. And because sometimes, like I tell everybody, like my vision is different and they may see things, but it doesn't mean that my vision is wrong. They're helping me see things from a different view. Yeah, a different perspective. Yeah. Yeah. So now in 2022, you got that head coaching opportunity. I did.
Yeah. So how was that feeling? How was that feeling when they offered you the job?
Dream come true.
Yeah.
Dream come true, man. I've always wanted to be a head coach.
Yeah.
I couldn't, dream of a better situation.
Yeah.
I love being in Kerman. The kids there. I love being around those kids, man, every single day. Yeah. I love being around those kids. And it's just because they all have different personalities.
Yeah.
Right. They impact me as much as I impact them.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and they're a good group of kids.
Yeah.
Like I had text my offensive coordinator, Anthony McCoy, one day, and I said, man, we got some good kids.
Yeah, they got some great kids out there.
We got some good kids.
Great kids.
Right. And that's important.
Yeah.
Right. And that's important when you're building a program is you want to make sure that, of course, there's always going to be those detractors from every program.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't focus on them as much. You focus on the ones that are bringing life into the program, because those that are bringing life into the program are going to naturally infect the ones that are taking from it, and it's going to change the way they're outlook on it, right? And so, but like I said, man, I mean, Kerman is a wonderful place.
Yes,
and
it is.
I enjoy being there, and so I mean, I'm forever grateful for them for giving me this opportunity. Mm-hmm. But like I said, man, it was a dream come true. Yeah, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, I like Kerman. I used to work out there, so I know what you talk about, man. They show love. Yeah, like for whatever you need, man, we got you. Like you ain't got to worry about nothing. Like we got you.
Mm-hmm. No, no, you're right. But like I tell her, I don't ask for much.
Yeah,
right. We didn't have field turf and things of that nature. Yeah. Like our practice field used to be called the ghetto.
Oh man.
Right? Like we used to call our practice field the ghetto because it was, but our players loved being there.
Yeah.
Right? Like we loved being there. Like we didn't have our weight room it was extremely small, but you didn't hear our coaches being like, we need a bigger weight room.
Yeah.
Nah, they were like getting there and
getting
doing
that work.
We going exactly right. Like we get that work. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what your weight room looks like.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put blood, sweat, and tears in here.
Yeah.
Right. So we maximized the little space that we
Yeah.
had and we got it done.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of take that same philosophy and my AD, and they'll tell you, like, I don't ask for anything, not because they won't provide it. Like you said, if I ask for stuff, they'll get it.
Yeah.
But I want to lead by example. I want my kids to know that you don't need all the glitz and glamour to be successful, right? You what you have in front of you, you utilize it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And if it stops working and you can swap it out or change it or whatever, then you do so.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't do it just to try to be like everybody.
Oh, yeah.
else,
Yeah.
Right. So, but no, it's been a blessing being out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be watching you, man. You had them. You have about at least 50 kids, man, in that weight room getting it in unison.
Hey.
In unison.
But again, I contribute that to my leaders on my team. They know my expectation. And
work got to match the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they in there too. Because I'll be watching the videos you post, man. I said, man, they deep, they ready.
Yeah,
they say they not playing around.
Man, they ain't got no choice.
Yeah, they ain't nothing else to do.
They got no choice.
Let's get this football in. So your first season, you went 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
You went 7-5. And you got one playoff win. So how was that? How was that first season getting? How was the first game?
You know, again, man, it was a surreal moment because it was my first game as a head coach.
Yeah,
right. You're talking about months of preparation. You're talking about all the sacrifices that not only I had to make, but my kids, my coaches. And then that first day there, I was nervous. I was like, because we were down 19-0 at half, and I'm like, I'm about to get fired after the first game. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my job after this game, man. Like, I'm praying inside, like, please, come on, man,
somebody score. Please, we need a touchdown.
We can't start off 0-1, man.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we ended up coming back and winning that first game, man. And then we rattled off 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it was that first game, man, was an experience.
It's always that first one. The fans always keep coming too, man. One thing about Kerman fans, man, they showing up from the little babies from Pop Warner to the OGs, coming with their Kerman satin jackets on in their same spot.
And our first game was in Chowchilla. You would have thought that our stands are that was a home game for us.
Yeah, they coming.
Right? Exactly. I mean, that's one thing I love about Kerman, man. Like, of course, with every fans, there always comes things that people are gonna say to you from the stands. But one thing that I love about Kerman is they show up for their kids. Yeah. They show up for the program. And they, they're supporting whether they have a kid on the team or not. They support, and that's one thing that I enjoy. And then even like our leadership teacher, Mandy Portal, like she makes sure the kids are there. If it's them getting a Rooter bus or whatever the case may be, the student stand shows up and they turn up. So it's just like, at the end of the day, man, like I said, I'm in a great situation. I'm blessed, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. So now year 2. It kind of the same, but a lot much different.
Yeah.
You started off rough.
Yeah.
Man, you lost. You went 2-5. Your first as to start the season. Then you rattled off 6 wins in a row. You got hot at the right time.
Yes, sir.
Man, so how was that? It didn't start off too good, but what kept the team coming back and saying, "Man, let's turn this thing around and get it to where it should be."
The message. I kept preaching the same message.
Yeah.
I never deviated from the message. I think the biggest thing is kids need to know that people believe in them. Even when times get rough. I think we are our biggest critics as individuals, right? When we fail at something, we're going to beat ourselves up no matter what. Even if we show like it's not bothering us, we're going to beat ourselves up. But play for each other, right? Like, you guys got to look at the man next to you, to your right and your left, behind you, in front of you, and be like, yo, I'm going to get this done for you. Yeah. And I think the group of seniors that I had mixed with the younger guys, like they knew that we can get the job done. And so you're right. At one point we were 2-5 and we was like, hey, we got to keep playing. Like, but and they could have, and that's one thing I love about this group. They could have easily said, you know what, coach? kids could have quit.
Oh, yeah.
Kids could have just turned it in.
Yeah.
But like you said, they turned it around.
Yes.
Right. And we won games on paper that we shouldn't have won. Even going with that 2-5, like we lost to Sunnyside by a point.
Yeah.
We played bad versus Matilda Torres. We played CVC. They ended up winning state.
Yeah.
We played Kings. We lost to Kingsburg. So our losses weren't like bad losses.
Yeah.
Our losses were to teams that were either extremely talented,
Yes.
or like Matilda Torres. They went to state. So you got Matilda Torres that went to state. I believe they won Valley, and I think they went to state.
Yeah.
Or they were in the state playoffs.
Yeah, they was in there,
CVC who won Valley's in state.
Yep.
Sunnyside, they talent.
They got talent.
galore.
They got talent over there.
Kingsburg, we lost to them by I think a touchdown or something like
Yeah.
that. So that was a close game up until the fourth quarter. And then Clovis East.
Yeah.
They made it all the way to the end and ended up losing
Yeah.
to Clovis North.
Yeah,
So
in the Valley Championship.
our losses weren't
Yeah.
to teams that were just, oh man,
Yeah.
that should have been a walk in the park. Like our guys went up against team programs that are successful programs.
Yeah, for years too.
Yeah, and have great kids are being coached by great coaches. So,
Yeah.
but our kids again, they stuck with it, man. They persevered, and and that's really what it was. Like the word is perseverance.
Yeah.
I love that word, man. I actually got it tatted on my forearm right here. So
Yeah.
perseverance is huge, for me, and my kids showed it. They
Oh yeah, they
persevered and-
definitely persevered, overcame adversity.
Yep, they stayed the course.
And during that season, you also got to show love to a Kerman alumni. Y'all went and watched Sean Chambers play. So how big was that for the kids to even go out there and see a college football game where a kid came from where they came from?
So shout out to Tony Vaya. There's a former Kerman alum. He hit me. He's like, hey, Damon, this would be a great opportunity for the boys to go see Sean his last year.
Yeah.
And so I'm all for supporting alumni. I'm all for alumni coming back. I'm all for that. So I reached out to my admin and said, hey, how can we get this done? My admin got it done. Shout out to Ephraim Gazara, the Booster Club. They took care of the tickets, got the kids on the bus. They went up there. They had a wonderful experience. They got to take a picture with Sean and support Sean, and even Montana State gave us a shout out on Twitter with the kids being there and supporting. So I think again that's the experience. They loved that experience and they were blessed to go through that.
Yeah.
So it was a cool little deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's showing them like, man, if he could do it, I can do it. So that's probably what gave him that little extra jolt too. Gave him that little.
Well, but it's that team bonding that
team
they
bonding,
had there.
yeah.
Again, they had little stories that took place while they were there that they laugh about. They bring up during season things of that nature. So I think them just being together helped that too. So
now one of the notable wins I'd like to bring up, man, is the Battle of the Cats, which is it's a Washington Union football game where we show our respects to Coach Taylor, who passed away in 2017. So he coached at Washington Union. He coached track, football, and girls basketball at Washington Union, and he coached track and football at Kerman. So that's what brought those two teams together for the Battle of the Cats. Even though we had a rivalry, now with Coach Taylor's memory, they came up with the Battle of the Cats, and we play for the Taylor Cup every year. So Washington had it for the last 3 years, I believe, since Sean Chambers graduated. So then they had it, but then your first year, man, y'all gave Washington Union trouble with that quarterback, man. He was out there doing this thing, but then the second year, y'all came out, man, with a different kind of energy. So how was it preparing for that game for that week?
Well, we knew that was a must-win game for us. We were 4-5 at that point. We wanted to make sure that if we were going to get into the playoffs, that we got into the playoffs at least being 500. We didn't want to go in, with the quote-unquote losing record. But our kids prepared. They came out with the right mindset. They came out ready to play. Some of those kids were a part of it last year, the game, and we lose that game last year in the fourth quarter.
That was a close one.
It was 0-0 all the way to the fourth quarter.
I was coaching on the other side. That was one of them games.
So for the kids that was a part of it, they remembered that. but they prepared, man. And again, I mean, I got some wonderful kids. So, I mean, they took it upon themselves and they knew that we had to win that game.
Yeah.
And, they came out there with the right mindset. They wanted to execute on offense and defense, and they did that. And the outcome was the outcome. But shout out to Paul Holland, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah, shout out to Paul Holland.
So, I mean, and I knew going into that game, anytime going against Paul, I mean, he's going to have his guys ready.
Yeah.
And you could tell, coming out, he runs a good program. Yeah. And so, like I said, man, our kids just came out there with the right mindset, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all did y'all thing too. Mm-hmm. Y'all ran them out I like to say the gym, like Golden State did with Dallas. Boy, I ran them out the gym, man. Y'all played good though.
Hey, man, we just played Kermit line football.
Yeah,
man.
y'all was playing, boy. Y'all was out there throwing that thing, running that thing. A little running back, he was nice.
Yeah,
little dude too. Lose and go home.
Yeah,
and y'all, it's lose and go home. So, what was the mindset? Y'all got that home game too.
Yeah,
that was huge for the city. So, how was that first home playoff game for you?
Again, it was fun. I mean, we had we had a home game the year before, and so we wanted to make sure that we put on for the city.
Yeah.
Because again, we appreciate the city of Kermit and all the fans coming out, and we wanted to go out there and win it for them.
Yeah.
We didn't play the best game, but we won that game.
Yeah.
And our kids, we were happy about it. We were happy, but we were disappointed at the same time, right? Because our standard is so high, and a lot of things that we messed up in that game were very preventable. But again, our kids persevered, right? They worked hard and they fought that game, and and that's one thing I love about our kids. And again, I can't say this enough about them. They did not give up. They kept fighting no matter what the mistakes were made. They kept battling. So
Then now it's round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all surprised another one.
Yes, sir.
Y'all surprised another one.
Nobody expected us.
Nobody. I checked the max preps. They did it. And then after that, it was on to round 3.
Yeah, nobody expected us to win.
It's like, okay, it's luck.
With freshmen playing and young sophomores playing in the game. And so our kids, again, like we were preaching that week, we can win.
Yeah.
We can win. We just got to execute, play assignment football.
Yeah.
And so the funny part about we win that game off a walk-off run.
I seen the play.
By Lil Julian,
yeah,
right? Like I told you.
Play.
But the funny part about it is I ended up pulling my hamstring on that play too. Both of them.
Do some leg work.
Man, listen.
do some glutes.
The funny part, like we were in that game, my OC, it was tie game.
Yeah.
OC's like, yo, we're just gonna run the clock out. So, Ray Sanchez, one of our linemen, said, nah, not if we score right here.
Yeah.
So he called the walk off. So sure enough, hands it off. Julian hits the hole. He's out of there.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's crazy. Kennedy play a different they play their style of football.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it's the way they play. Like, man, teams shouldn't play like that, but they play like that.
It's the culture.
It's
right?
the culture.
It's the culture there, man. And I think our boys learned from the year before how Kennedy was.
Yeah, they're a tough team.
They are a tough team, and our kids, once we were in it and we stayed in it, our kids, again, we persevered and we ended up winning. So
kept chipping at it, stuck to that run game and busted that big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we in the Valley Championship. So how was that? So how was that experience for Kermit? I know they did it big. I know they did it big, man. That was the first one to go to be able to get to one.
Yeah.
And like, how was that? I know it was big for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so how was it for you?
Again, we made history.
Yeah.
Like that, my 2023 team will go down in history.
Yeah.
Whenever you speak football now, you have to mention the 2023 team. Yeah. And again, it's the team, not exclude us as coaches.
Yeah.
Like I told, they left a legacy.
Yeah.
They left their mark on the program and on the city of Kermit. So whenever you talk about Valley Championships, those kids can be like, we went to Valley.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we didn't accomplish to go and win it, but they can say they went to Valley. They were the first team on record, on file, to say they made it to Valleys, right?
Yeah.
It was a surreal moment, man. I mean, Kermit showed up, man. They we were driving down the bus trail that they have on campus there, and the fans were there, had up signs, man. They traveled to Mission Oak, Visalia. So I mean, it was the fans always show up, man. They show love. And again, it was a great experience. And so, again, the outcome wasn't the outcome that we wanted, but the kids from this year's team know what it's like to make it there and what it's going to take to make it there.
Yeah.
So now this off season is going to be it should be a different off season, right? It should be. I'm not going to speak for it yet because I want them to let their hard work shows with the disappointment from last year.
Yeah,
right?
It got to sting a little bit.
They got to sting a little.
They got to get there, and that's what I say. Like the work got to match the goal. So that's the best part is getting there and coming up short. So now, okay, this the work we put in. So now it's going to take this much more work than some to even get an opportunity to get back.
That's your extra motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find it somewhere.
Yeah.
I found it as a player. And so, for them, again, I mean, I can't compare them. I can't compare myself to them, but they have to find that motivation, right?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about motivation, the fact that they went to Valleys and lost, and they know what it took to get there, it should be okay. Hey, we want to make it back and win.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like I told the kids already, we getting back to Valley.
Yeah, you got to.
Like that's one of the things that I learned from Coach Ladd. Before I did the interview and I was talking to him about questions, he goes, Damon, your goal every year should be to make it to Valley, and for De La Salle was state, right?
Yeah.
Because it was never. I mean, it was never a question that we were always going to be in the top.
Yeah.
So he was like, for you, it should be the championship game every year.
Yeah.
And so that stuck with me in my interview. I'm like, Valley championship. I was saying it in my first year.
Yeah.
I think everybody thought I was crazy. I was saying it this year. I think everybody thought I was crazy. Because again, I understand why. Like they've never made it there.
Yeah.
No matter who the coach was, they've never made it there. And so for this guy to come in and barely be here, and he's talking about going to the Valley Championship. But it just because I believed in our kids.
Yeah.
Right. I see the work that they put in every single day.
Yeah.
I see the sacrifices that they make.
Oh yeah.
I see how much they love each other.
Yeah.
And the bond that they have with each other. And it's not like on some like they envy each other. Like, nah, like they
you want to
really
see your brother do good.
Yeah, like they make fun of it. It's an unexplainable feeling. And so seeing that, I was like, yeah, our boys got it.
Yeah.
So
And I think that comes from them because me being out there for a couple years, a lot of them go from elementary together. They go to middle school together. They all go to middle school together.
yeah.
Then they all play on the same Pop Warner team together. Then they all go to the same high school together. So they know each other's tendencies.
Yes.
Like they know each other like they brothers in arms. Like they've been through the grade school together, middle school, now high school. So that's what I notice about a lot of smaller schools now that are competing deep into the season.
Yeah.
Because of that camaraderie they have.
It could be a good thing and a bad thing. And the reason why I said it as the bad part about it is you've known someone for so long, you know the good things that they do and the bad things that they do. So it's like you feel when you talk about calling each other out, sometimes people are afraid to call each other out because they've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned my first year. I came in, I'm like, y'all got to be able to call. And then one of my players was like, Coach, like I'm afraid to lose his friendship.
Oh, man.
Right, but then, but when you break it down from being an outsider, I understand why. You've been friends with somebody for so long. No one has ever told you to call your friend out. Now this guy who just came into the building is telling you that you need to call each other out. But I've been friends with him for so long, right? And so, but one thing, we tried to explain to him that if you can't call your friend out, they're never your friend to begin with, right? And it's about making sure that if you want to win, we need all 50 people moving in the right direction, right? Of course, you're going to have those little stragglers, but the goal is to try to get a good 85% of your team moving in the direction that you want it to move. So sometimes it means you got to call your brother out, and it's not personal. It's just, I want to be successful. You want to be successful. Let's do it for each other. So
the team. And what was that bus ride? Well, how was the speech after the game? What did you say to the team?
What for after the Valley game?
Yeah, after the Valley game.
Man, I mean, the message was the same as far as like I'm telling you now, like they made an impact. They left their legacy in Kermit. Not the way. I mean, of course, we wanted to go out with the win. But the fact that they made it there. Right. The fact that, like you said, we were 2-5. These kids could easily say, you know what, we're done. But they didn't. They stuck it out. They persevered. I think it was a lot of life lessons learned. they grew together. And so, and I touched on that. And then I also touched on the kid that are coming back.
Yeah.
You know what it takes to get here.
Yeah.
Right. So that, the new guys coming in, the JV guys coming in.
Yeah.
I told them, like, you guys got to make sure that they toe the line and that, this is what the standard is, and we're not going to deviate from the standard. We want to make it back. So you're either going to join in with us or not. Yeah. We're not going to chase people down. We're not going to force people to be a part of this program. I'm not finna chase anybody down because if I have to chase you, that means I want it more than you.
Yep.
And that means you're going to not value the people who are in this program that want to be successful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to chase nobody down that want this work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, man, this summer is gonna be a real treat for Kerman. This summer gonna be a real treat for Kerman. Y'all got the 69th annual city county game. You get to coach it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's the 70th. It's the 70th. The only reason why I say that, it's the 70th. The only reason why I say that is because they're making a big. They're
That's
making
the 70th. Okay,
it's a big thing. Because it's been 70 years.
70 years.
It's one of the longest.
Because I played in the 50th.
Yeah, so it's one of the longest running All-Star games.
Yeah, in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but nah, man, it's it's a blessing. It's funny, man, because being at the facility, I think it was 3-4 years ago. Me and Trevon hosted the city county game, or like the players.
Yeah.
And it's funny how it works out. So during that time, I didn't know about it until I actually had a conversation with Bobby Zavala about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Kerman staff. I didn't know that at the time. So it was the Kerman staff who actually had it.
Yeah.
And then me and Coach McCoy were the ones speaking to the kids. And then fast forward now, we're here in Kerman.
It's you now.
And now it's us. So it's crazy how things work out.
Divine intervention.
But I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy. It's a blessing again.
Yeah.
And so just going out there and taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Man, just getting, these kids ready for this upcoming season. My goals this year is I don't want to travel in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want home games. I want multiple home games. Right.
The one seed.
Yeah, and I want to win our league.
Yeah, and I hate the way how CIF does it.
Well, they're changing it now.
They're changing it back.
We got an email yesterday. They're changing how they're going to do some of the things. How the playoff seeding is. They're gonna. Yeah. So they're. I will say this, man. Again, everybody deserves grace. Everybody's not going to agree with the CIF, but I can say that they're actively trying to fix things.
Yeah.
It's not as cookie cutter as if it would be in college or the NFL.
Yeah.
But they're working on it.
Yeah.
And so, but no, I mean, like I said, my goal this year is to, and I told the kids, we need to beat teams that have beaten us the last 2 years. And I want home field advantage.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
I think the city of Kerman deserves it. Because they bring, again, when we went to Cal Poly, we showed up with people there, right? So it's like, I want, our fans to be able to stay home for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and watch us play at home. So that's some of the goals this year is making sure that, we win our league and, we get that number 1 seed so that we can stay home for the playoffs. So,
yeah, I definitely want to come out there and watch that. Come check out the city county practice, man. Probably get you mic'd up or something.
Man, come out there, man.
Get you
listen, you're more than welcome to come out there, man.
Get a couple flicks.
It's I don't have a problem with that, man, because I want people to see what kind of program that I have, that I'm building with my assistant coaches, man. I think a lot of programs has gotten away from, and I'll say this, they haven't gotten away. I think everybody's just rotating, I guess you can say, or adjusting to the climate of high school football.
Yeah.
Right. Back when I was in high school football, it was about going to a program that was going to help your son become a better man.
Yeah.
And things of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Not, okay, I'm going to send my son to this school because this college coach goes there, or things of that nature, right? And I know not every parent thinks that way, right? But there's some parents that are like, well, I want to send my son that's going to have the best, it's going to have the most college coaches there, right?
Yeah,
so
get the best opportunity or something.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I tell every kid, you have an expiration date on who you are as an athlete.
Yeah.
At some point, your career comes to an end.
Yeah.
But who you are as a person, what kind of man you're becoming, the life lessons, the core values that you're taught, are what's going to keep you in certain places, important places. And I like to think that me and my staff is creating an environment that feels like home, that that we're helping kids be assets to society, not liabilities. We're helping them, persevere through life, and it just, and I think the wins are going to come. Right?
Oh yeah, they're going to come for sure.
I mean, again, prime example, we were 2-5, and if you'd have told us that we were going to be 2-5 and make it to the Valley Championship, some people would have been like, you tripping.
Pull your bet.
Exactly, right? But again, I mean, but I think, again, that's a testament to how good our kids are. That's a testament to my staff. And I think we're building something special in Kerman. Like I
definitely are.
I'm trying to turn Kerman into a football powerhouse. And I just want Kerman to be on the same map as every other big time school out here.
Yeah, I've been seeing you out there, man. Because you even out there on the Pop Warner too now.
Yeah, I mean, my son's out there, but it just, but again, I mean, I'm here on an interview, I'm sporting Kerman stuff. My son was just in Miami this weekend. He's wearing Kerman stuff. Like, I just want people to know, I mean, that Kerman is here. Don't sleep on us. And like, we're building something special.
Oh yeah, they got something special going on out there.
So don't just overlook us because we're 15 minutes outside of Fresno, 2 minutes outside of Fresno. Like, there's value in being in Kerman.
Yes,
right?
yes, it is.
There's good people in Kerman. There's good kids in Kerman. Right, and good kids that are, I mean, of course, every kid has their little issues, but for the most part, it's not a place where you run into a whole bunch of stuff. Right? So again, I'm blessed to be in Kerman, man. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thankful for, our superintendent, my principals, assistant, everybody, my AD.
Shout out to Kerman. Shout out to everybody at Kerman, man. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of miss y'all a little bit too.
So I mean, I'm happy and I'm blessed, man, and I'm thankful for them believing in me and my staff. And so, so I consider myself a lucky man.
Any shout outs? Any shout outs before we go?
Man, I mean, thank you.
Appreciate
for having me in here, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you to my frat for letting us use the studio. Man.
Shout out to my boy JKP, man. If you need the podcast or anything, some photos, hit JKP up.
My frat bro over there, man. Appreciate it, man. But I mean, to give shout outs, man. Of course, I want to always thank God, man, for giving me the opportunity, man. He put me in this position, and all the life lessons that I've learned throughout life. And I mean, he had my map laid out for me, even though I didn't want to follow it. I ended up following it. Like I said, thank you to the whole Kerman staff, from like I said, the superintendent all the way down to my coworkers. Because again, sometimes some people take it personal because I'm the football coach and certain things may not come the way that they think that it should come, but a lot of they still support and they still So shout out to my boy Hawk on campus, man. Me and
Coach him, Hawk, man. Coach Hawk.
Me and him have a lot of life conversations. Shout out to Miss Ness too. She always checks in on me. And so shout out to the whole Kerman community. Thank you for the support, the good and the bad. I appreciate the support. My kids, especially my son, we wake up at 5 a.m. to get to Kerman. Sometimes, all in the off season, like we'll start that next week. We're waking up at 5 so I can get there and get prepared. My daughter, I love you. Shout out to her too. She sacrificed a lot. So I mean, just everybody who had a part in helping me become the man that I am today. All the coaches that I've been a part of. Shout out to Coach Ladd, my whole De La Salle staff. And everybody who supported me, man. I also I can't forget Kappa Mike and Kappa James. And
shout out, man. Cockies.
You're right. And I say that because, man, they supporting, right? We talk about support. Like Chowchilla, they were there for that.
Man.
Right? They went to several games my second year there, man. Mike pulled up on me and we played Selma. So it's like the support, man.
That's love right there.
And for me, like my mom passed away, my dad passed away. And so I don't necessarily have immediate family, right? Like that are there supporting me every single day. And so not having my mom and dad there, it means a lot when my friends or people I call my friends show up.
It does.
My little brother drove from Oakland to come to a game. So
I remember that.
My best friend Maurice and my big brother Nate, they showed up to the campus and came. So anytime I get support from family and friends, man, it means a lot. Because I value that. And shout out to my whole coaching staff, man. Coach McCoy, he's been there with me. But you know, all my staff, man, all the sacrifices
shout
they
out
made,
to 'em, man.
being away from their wives, and
Yeah.
you know, last but not least, my kids in my program.
Yeah.
You know, they be talking about Coach Jenkins be tripping. And they be like, Coach Jenkins tripping.
Yeah.
But they know why Coach Jenkins be tripping.
Yeah.
You know, I be like, yo, you know why I'm tripping? Yeah, I know, Coach, but you tripping, right? So, but nah, man, you know, I was telling somebody the other day, my success in the program has everything to do with the kids that I coach. That I'm a
they
part
got to
of.
be coachable.
They, you know, not only coachable, man, they trust me for the most part. You know, they're not always going to. That's the biggest thing. Like with coaches, like we have to gain the kids' trust.
Yeah.
Because you know, again, I'm an outsider, right?
Yeah.
I'm not from Kermit. I didn't grow up in Kermit. So, but for them to kind of buy in and you know, they're not 100% bought in, right? But they are, you know, like I said, a good 85 to 90% bought in, and so I appreciate my kids, man, for sticking it out with me, and you know, so I'm in a blessed situation. I'm thankful for everything, you know. So
that's good, man. Shout out to Kermit and all the athletes out there, man. Good luck this season. I'm gonna be checking y'all out. I'm gonna come check out some of the practices if I can get out there for the summer, and
man, please do
check some of them games. Link up with my boy Back Holding so I can get some of the
yes,
photos.
Sir. Yeah.
I got one more. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I'm trying to get JKP out there, but he be big time with me, man. You know, he got his own little studio. A small folk. but he forget I was supporting him when he was doing things at the schoolhouse and stuff with a little magazine. Hey, listen, you see that? Look, don't ever forget me, man.
Yeah, it's time to come on home, Jerry.
Exactly, right? Look, he forgot. But nah. But like I said, man, I appreciate you having me on here.
Oh man, I appreciate you giving me your time, man, because it's huge, man. But I got one more thing for you.
Okay.
And if you can show the people out there, man, what we got for you, man. Hopefully this get you that extra motivation for the season.
Okay, I like the red. Look, you already got me.
We doubling up. That's for the Noops and for Kermit.
Okay, look, hey. Look, man, if it's free, it's me, man. Give me 3, man. I love free stuff. Hey, listen, okay.
So take that into your season. Let them know. My boy told me, man. Shout out to the gorilla, man. He told me, man, the shirts changed colors.
Yes, he did. Hey, he did tell me that.
The shirts changed colors. So, man, so take that as motivation, man. The work got to match the goal.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That, though. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. But that's our show for today, man.